In this session, I would like to talk about imagery in music, cross-modal associations, and the lessons from synesthesia. Um, An example of E major Prelude Rachmaninov, Opus 32, number 3. Very often there's music analysis which gives you insight into harmony language, music structures, and anybody else. But so what is very important, but that's why music is a lesson between teacher and the student, heart to heart, because there's a personal reaction, sensory reaction, and we cannot neglect it. So, for example, in this prelude, like I feel here, this is like imagine so Rachmaninov, Russian composer. So after a long, dark, snow winter, then the spring coming, and this is exactly that spring drops from islets, and it's called Весенняя капель in Russian language, and there's the smell of the soil and waking up nature and the leaves, green leaves. So I imagine in this prelude as a spring. So I will give a nickname like that. So what I wanted to talk, okay, now that so those cross-modal associations and this imagery on sound, it's not just a spontaneous subjective reaction. So there's scientific explanation to all this. It's our sensory system. You know, we have vision, hearing, smell, five senses. Yes, so they actually link together when we are born. So there's a hypothesis of infant synesthesia. Daphne Maurer and the Canadian researcher from Hamilton Psychology Department and the Jamie Ward from University of Sussex, they proved that the newborn baby brain is cross-modal. So they experience sensory boulevas. So that, for example, for a baby, the face of the mother, it's associated in one sensory, like smell, touch of the skin, hearing the voice, everything all together. So that's why young age and children, they mix expressions from different sensory modalities. So and their language rich of metaphors. So as well that there's a Russian musicologist Bulat Galayev, a researcher in synesthesia, who said that the cross-modal associations is necessary part of musical thinking because it influencing on the touch and how we produce the sound. Your imagery is direct link how sound will reflect on your feelings. So as well as with imagery, it's our creativity on sound. So famous synesthesia researchers like Ramachandran and Hubbard, they said that linking unrelated concepts, as in case of synesthesia, can lead to new discoveries and their creativity because we get perception to certain information from a different angle. So lessons from synesthesia. Cross-modal associations, it's a mild form of connecting responses from different sensory modalities. But, for example, if we're talking about synesthete people who have sensory pairings, for example, like Messiaen composer who had sound to color chromesthesia type of synesthesia, or even other artists, for example, like James Manerton, who has gustatory gestalt synesthesia, so it's sound to taste, or there's sound to smell, olfactory synesthesia, and sometimes in reaction of musical texture we can experience those associations. So my message is, don't afraid of it and embrace it, because it's actually help you with sound production. So here that's the episode what brought me very strong. So another that I wanted to talk about middle part in Rachmaninov, how beautifully the composer captured the mood of a new beginning, the joy and the hope what every spring can bring. So here. Sorry for some wrong notes, but what I wanted to say is that, for example, the harmony. It's important to listen here both voices and the emphasis on the turning point of the melody. They're not matching in both hands. So we can talk about the smell, the smell of fresh air, of the sound of the streams. And so I believe that composers sometimes they want us to know those effects, and here's scientific explanation. Now we have our century is I think all about merging disciplines and sharing knowledge and viewing it from different angles. So I would say this talk more cognitive musicology, as we assess musical textures from the point of sensory and what we can experience in music. Thank you.